privileged to be able to speak to you today from our new place of residence and new place of ministry. This is Martinez. This is the name of the neighborhood in Buenos Aires, very close to the city of Buenos Aires, but on the outskirts, on the northern part. We moved last Saturday, and you might wonder what's up with the move. Why did we move? Well, God has just been so amazing. You would remember from the last time we spoke that I shared about our vision to connect with international people and to minister to the international community in Argentina. And we started out, as I said last time, in the city center of Buenos Aires. We started ministering there in a hotel. We rented a space and we started ministering. But we slowly became aware of a need in the northern part of Buenos Aires, outside in this area where we are at the moment, because of our two girls that actually moved to an international school. They weren't coping very well with the Argentine high school. It was difficult for them academically, although they can speak Spanish very well. Academically, it became difficult. And so God opened a door for them to go to a Christian international school called Baita. And so God has really been giving us favor with that community. As they started moving to the school, we started getting involved, praying with the parents every week. Actually, first Adele and then myself. And slowly but surely, we began to be more involved here. And then about 2.5 months ago, we spoke at a marriage seminar in Buenos Aires, and we were invited to come and speak at this congregation where we are right now. Church is called IBC, International Bible Church, and we were invited by people who were members who came to our the marriage seminar that we held at another church in the city. But then we invited them to our meeting at the hotel, which they also came to, and they really enjoyed it. And when they heard me speak about the challenge of ministering to the international community, because there are so many English-speaking and foreign, other language-speaking people here in Argentina, that God really gave us a burden to minister to them. I shared that vision, and they were excited. They invited me to come and speak here at the church. And as I shared the vision, they got excited, and the elders then came to me afterwards and shared with me the fact that they didn't have a pastor, and that they had been praying a lot that God would give them a new vision. They have been dreaming of really ministering to the international community, opening a Bible school, doing training, all the things actually that we had been dreaming about. As you would remember, speaking about the young people and getting an exchange program going, those are the things that have been in their hearts as well. And so God was so faithful in connecting both of us. And when they said they didn't have a pastor, they actually kind of asked whether we would be interested. Well, interestingly enough, they had put out an ad on the internet which said that they wanted someone who was over 50, whose children were already out of the house and married, someone who was American, and so when I wrote back to them, I actually applied officially for the position. I said, I'm neither over 50, my kids are all with me, and I'm not an American, but I really believe that God connected us with them. And it took about a few weeks for them to talk about it and make a decision. I came for an interview, and finally they felt they wanted to accept our application. Now, it's been amazing since we've been here. It's now been a few weeks, almost a month, that we've been part of the church, and we've been getting to know the people. That's what we've done this last month, is getting to know the people within the congregation, and the leaders and the different things that are going on, although they don't have so much going on, because the congregation for a long time have been having a pastor on and off, a few months, and then the pastor would leave, then a few months and the pastor would leave, and so they haven't had the opportunity to really build and grow. The congregation is not that big as far as people are concerned. We're talking about 30-40 people on a Sunday morning, but there's so much room for growth. The facility that we have here is amazing. It's a large facility. It's a huge house that was donated to the church 50 years ago. It was a Baptist church back then. And the church building has enough space for the meeting in the morning. You can seat probably about 120 people. It has enough space for classroom. It has classrooms upstairs, kitchen, bathrooms, and then the pastoral residence, which is adjacent to the building, or on the premises. It's in the same building where we live. And so they said to us, we would love to have you, but we can't afford a pastor. We'd be willing for you to stay in the house free of charge. So we are thankful to God. It's an amazing house with 4 bedrooms and enough bathrooms for the 7 of us, and it's an amazing place, and an amazing opportunity. But obviously they can't afford us, and they want us to still be involved with other missionary work, which we have been doing in the last few months. We've been traveling again to Entre Rios, where I translated at the Evangelistic Crusade for an American evangelist that was here. We also have been ministering in other congregations, building partnerships. And one of the places that I really would like to talk about is La Cava. La Cava is it's a neighborhood. Now, the Cava means the trench or the hole, the dugout, if you want the literal translation. And this was a place that in the 1940s, the government came and they dug a big hole in which they wanted to lay a foundation for a lot of inexpensive housing for the poor people. And unfortunately, the project fell through, and people began to live in the hole. Now, it's literally about 2 to 3 meters, about 10 feet down. When you walk towards La Cava, you walk on street level, and then you go down steps into this big hole. Now, when I say big, it's probably about 10 blocks by 5 blocks, huge. And it's all small homes. People live together, crammed together. At one time, it was one of the most dangerous neighborhoods in Buenos Aires. It's still considered to be a very dangerous place, with many of the drug dealers hiding there. No cars are permitted in, no cars are permitted out. They've got the National Guard all around this neighborhood guarding it so that no criminal elements can go in or out. Once they're in, they can't get out, something like that. But at the end of the day, God opened a door for us through a Bible school that I've been teaching at for the last 2 months, through one of the pastors that attended my class on urban missions, to go and minister in La Cava. Now, La Cava is still part of this municipality that we're in right now, called San Isidro. And so as we ministered there, it was amazing, because you can imagine we live in the most affluent area, and we went to minister in the poorest area, the most needy area spiritually, and physically, and in lots of ways. And God gave us favor with the congregation. They want us to partner with them and continue to coach them and teach them. The pastor had planted 4 different congregations, but he feels he needs help to build and to grow, and he feels he wants a continued partnership with me and with Fidel and with the family. And it's so been amazing that we've been able to minister in different parts, and still do that as missionaries from South Africa, but now have a place that we can call a base, from which we can minister into the city of Buenos Aires, into the neighborhood. We are about the only congregation in a very large area. In this whole neighborhood, we're about the only congregation. And so there's so much need here. And I dreamt of this moment for a long time, where I would ask you to consider supporting us, not because we want to reach poor people. We want to do that as well. But mostly, we need to reach the wealthy people of this area. There is so much spiritual need. And these houses are huge, and people live isolated lives. And probably there's so much going on in their lives that we don't even know about. But they need God just as much as anyone else. And I believe God has sent us here with a purpose. We're excited about what God has in store. We're already starting the proceedings for a gap year that will be starting in 2017. Next year we'll be doing the preparations for the gap year program in a partnership with Pneumatics in Cape Town. And next year we're going to do curriculum development, because we want to have a specific focus on missions. And God has been so good to us in already confirming that He wants us to do that. Just another short testimony. As we came into this congregation, one of the members spoke to us about the South African community down in Comodoro Rivadavia, and he had such a burden for them, and he asked us whether we knew about them, and we said yes, and we wanted to go there, but we didn't know how and when and who to contact. And he told us, well, he knows some people and he's been there. And so we started praying into going there next year. Right at the same time when we had that discussion, God spoke to a couple in South Africa about coming to Argentina, but they didn't know it was Argentina because they had a dream about the word Patagonia, and they didn't know what that was. And they went on the internet and they saw this was the south of Argentina. Just after that, they went to a screening of a documentary filmed just last year actually, beginning of this year I think, about the South Africans living in the south of Argentina, in the Patagonia. That's what the area is called. The Boers at the end of the world. And as they saw that, they were struck in their hearts, and they knew this was what God wanted for them, that they needed to come and minister and explore the possibility of ministering to the South Africans living in the south. And as they thought about, well, how can they get here? How would they know, what to do? They met with someone who knew us, and as they spoke, this person said, well, I know Van and Adele, they live in Argentina, so we came into contact with them, and they will be coming over next year with us as we come back from South Africa. And it's so amazing because we now have a possibility that we have a congregation in which they can come, be in the meetings because it's English. We have simultaneous translation to Spanish. They'll be able to learn the language because that's part of what we will offer, language classes for missionaries that want to come in and work in Argentina, and then train them in all the things God has been teaching us over these years, and then sending them out to work in Argentina. But we also know the other part will also be happening, and that's what the gap year is about. Getting people here for a training program for a year, coming with in the church, coming serving in the church, but learning the language, having a multicultural environment, because in the congregation we've got Japanese people, Russians, Americans, and now South Africans, and this will cause them to be able to be prepared, not only theologically and spiritually, but also culturally and language-wise, for us to be able to send them out as missionaries into where God has called them to go. So this is all to say God is on the move, and we're so excited. And I want to thank you for investing. I want to thank every one of you who have been donating and giving money towards what we've been doing here in Argentina. And we've been praying and longing for this day. And we finally know there's a sense in our hearts as a family that this is what we've been preparing for all our lives. This is where God wants to use us to be a blessing in an even greater way to the nations, but also to have the nations come and be a blessing to Argentina. And so thank you so much once again, and we covered, and we would like to invite you to keep on supporting us. And those of you who are watching this and you want to support us, you're so welcome to do that. Write to us and we'll give you the opportunity to do so. We'll speak to about how you can do that. Because we really need some partners. When we talk about reaching this wealthy community, we talk about hanging out with these people, going to the golf courses, meeting the international community and the wealthy Argentines that live here, because of the fact that we're about the only congregation in the area. There's so much need, but there's so much opportunity to reach them for Christ, and I'd invite you to invest in that for the sake of the kingdom and for the sake of these people that need God. Thank you so much for listening. May the Lord bless you. Oh, and before I forget, as a family, we'll be traveling to South Africa. That's another testimony. God has been so wonderful in providing the funds that we needed for 7 tickets. As you can imagine, that's not something that's easy to do in the physical sense of the word. But God provided for us supernaturally. People donated anonymously, and we could buy at the right time, buy the 7 tickets for us to visit South Africa after 4 years being here in Argentina. It's the first time we'll be going back into South Africa. For December holiday, we'll be together with our family, and Piet will be coming over, my brother-in-law from Australia with his children. They're already flying in today into South Africa. And we're going to be meeting as a family, I think maybe for the last time, because our kids are growing up and they're beginning to wanting to marry and study. And so we'll be in South Africa for a month in December for holiday and connecting with the family. And then in January, I'll be ministering in Uganda, and I'll be ministering around South Africa, raising funds, but also giving feedback about what we've been doing, basically what I've been telling you, but ministering along those lines. And then we'll be coming back in February. On the 3rd of February, we'll be coming back to Argentina to really launch and take this congregation to where God wants it. It was a Baptist congregation, but it's now kind of multi-denominational, multicultural, and really fits us well. And we're excited about what God has in store, and I hope you are as well. And those of you who've been following us, thank you for doing so. May the Lord bless you. This Christmas season, have a great holiday time with your family, and we wish you a blessed 2016, and we look forward to the partnership that God has in store for us, for His kingdom and for His glory. God bless you.